I had no idea I was going to make 5 parts to this series. It was supposed to be just 2. I guess a happy accident, but I have one more story about the channel. I already moved on from toy reviews. I was never happy that I had to do that, but I was still doing PR content. And with the release of the DVDs, which took billions of years, I could do screen grabs for rants. Before that, those videos were ass. Just follow fair use rules. But when it comes to toy, oh, it's never that easy. Everyone remembers Totally Not Mark, right? He does the reviews on Dragon Ball and One Piece and got into a huge mess with toy. They copyright claimed tons of his videos, and I went through the same exact thing. Over 80 of my videos were copyright claimed. These were all done manually by a third-party company hired by them. It was done very sloppily and rushed, where they even claimed like 4 videos that didn't even have stills from PR. After I started counterclaiming them, the ones that they screwed up on, they removed the claims instantly. But they don't care about fair use, so they had left the claims on all the other videos. I'm a nobody, no one gives a crap about my channel, and look at what Mark went through. He has millions of subscribers. So I only had one option. I keep everything so I can re-edit the videos. I didn't bother with the rants, top 10s replaced them, so I re-edited around 50 top 10s, replacing all the images with photos of the toys, deleted the old versions, and re-uploaded all of them. I did it in one go, copy and pasted all the information. With the videos gone, the claims were auto-deleted. The company that was doing the claims had thought I had just straight up re-uploaded the files, so they started reclaiming I think 10 of them, clearly showing that they don't even look at the videos. Eventually, they just disappeared. Another weird thing happened. My video tab had bugged out for a few hours, where it showed the old versions of my videos. I think that's how YouTube works. There's a backup of everyone's channel, so if someone does a mass delete, people can verify things. They probably checked the videos on the back end, and they were not going to actually watch the videos. We're talking hundreds of hours, and saw they were different. So if you wondered why there's a lot of rant videos missing, this is why. And this is still not the worst of it. I think 3 years later, the whole COPPA crap happened on YouTube. If you don't know, YouTube was gathering ad data on kids, which is a no-no. So they introduced this COPPA stuff. But the wording was so vague, and at the time, it basically said people aren't allowed to talk about kid shows. That's how stupid it was. We didn't know what was going on. I had made videos on it, calling it out. That's where Forgotten Television was born. I had the FTV idea for years. I wanted to do videos on other stuff, but I didn't want to start another channel. Then I also said to myself, it'll probably bomb anyway, so I never did it. But I didn't have a choice here. So I made the decision to stop PR videos and did FTV for 2 years. The problem was, I left the old PR videos up. I was never going to delete them, but this causes algorithm issues. It's stupid. You'd think the algorithm would allow multiple algos on your channel. When we watch something on a broadcast station, they air kids shows early in the morning, then have news and other programming later. They don't get marked as a Darkwing Duck station. That's what YouTube does. So all the work I did with FTV, no one watched them because the algorithm didn't know what to do with the videos, and people justifiably didn't care. They're here for PR stuff. So I basically waited out the COPPA garbage. After 1 year and people calling out the wording, they went and said, oh, we didn't mean you can't talk about toys and kid shows, just mark it as it's not meant for kids and you're good, which was beyond BS. Most of my old videos I had set for kids only, which you can't reverse. So those videos are stuck as that forever, unless I re-upload them. That screws the old videos and new videos, because you can't comment on those videos. That's what kills the algo. I was beyond angry. FTV videos stopped, and I resumed PR videos. That's where we are today. That stupid TV graphic, go and blame Toy with them not caring about fair use. Now, the other change. I don't make as many videos as I used to between my regular job, YouTube, and other things, and because of all the damage the channel's gone through. Here's another thing YouTube does if you don't know. The channel gets screwed up if you delete videos. That's why people do live shows. They private the video, then upload it to another channel. So with most of the old videos marked as for kids and deleting tons of other videos, screwed everything up. There are people still telling me, you're making videos again? That's how horrible the algorithm is. It's why PR 101 died in the middle of his space. PR 101 was supposed to be a one-off video, but of course, the most complicated video it came up with was the one that people actually watched. I went into the hospital for that. That's how much stress I was under. After that, I didn't care anymore. No more am I gonna rush a video out. Now, videos come out when I'm done. Usually once a month with shorts filling in the empty space if I come up with something. I didn't make these videos for any kind of pity. I just want to be honest with what happened. In a perfect world, I'd want to do both PR and FTB. Now, let's actually talk about what you're here for. Once and always in Cosmic Fury. When Dino Fury ended, Hasbro was selling off their entertainment division. That side of the company failed. This also involved Power Rangers. Now, disclaimer. This is all a personal theory, but this is my guess why Cosmic Fury was truncated to 10 episodes. Comments from the writers saying they had more story ideas planned for Cosmic Fury, and Netflix saying they would have paid for a full 20-episode season. They had a silver platter. Who would not take the opportunity? Selling off E1 would be the only reason why you wouldn't make 20 episodes. That dumpstered Cosmic, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Once and Always came out first, reuniting the majority of the MMPR cast. Overall, I enjoy the special, but it does have some disappointments. We actually dodged a big bullet with it. Originally, the special was supposed to be 45 minutes, basically 2 episodes, but they extended the special to an hour. But even that wasn't good enough. 45 minutes would have been a complete disaster. There's too much they had to cover. The special has to reintroduce us to the entire cast. It's been 25 to 29 years since we've seen these characters. Everyone moved on with their lives, and the special did have to deal with some real-life issues. What do you do with Trini? She sadly died in real life, but the character was alive. They made that the driving force. It centered around Billy. I give a lot of crap to the writers when they screw up, but here, they did something good. The writers did understand the characters. Looking back at MMPR, Billy was the awkward nerd, the introvert. You know, he didn't talk well, always got nervous. So when he met Jason and the others, they probably were the first real friends he had, and that friendship was strengthened when they all became Power Rangers. Looking at it from Billy's perspective, he probably was kicking himself when Zordon died. He almost lost Zordon during Green with Evil. The second time around, Zordon was sacrificed to save everyone, and he wasn't there for him. It fit that he would want to know if Zordon was really dead. Zordon was a being out of time. We don't know anything about him. Maybe he's not dead. Over the years, that want to find Zordon to prove he's alive or dead motivated him to create his company, a new command center in Alpha. Although it's totally stupid that he had staff working there that doesn't know what's going on. Obviously, this new center helps out all of the other Power Ranger team. They had a solid theme going, seeing if Zordon was alive or dead, and the death of Trini. It all funneled into Billy's arc. There was never going to be a perfect 30th anniversary special just by the nature of the cast. Even if everyone said yes, you have 2 different MMPR teams, with Tommy having access to multiple powers. Even Kat and Rocky have access to other powers. It would have been borderline impossible to give Rocky, Aisha, Adam, and all the originals good screen time. Maybe if they had made this the 10-episode season, it would have worked out better. Then you can alternate between them. Still, I was happy that they had Aisha and Adam there in some function. The only negative was with Rocky. He didn't get enough screen time, and you know me with Rocky getting screwed. As for the story, it revolving around Rita attempting to go back in time in order to get rid of the Power Rangers, I love the idea, but it never actually happens. It's a huge fail. It feels like the special is the first part of a movie, then they just resolve it in 10 minutes. It would have felt better if the special had been structured like Act 1. Robo Rita kills Trini, we get the backstory with Billy, Trini's daughter comes in, she's used as a way to have the characters fill in what they've been doing for the past 30 years. Act 2, things escalate with Rita capturing Tommy and the other Rangers, they try to figure out her plan and storm the Moon Palace. They fail, and Rita enters the portal. Act 3, the Rangers follow, ending up in 1993. This is where you can rebuild the original Command Center set and bring back David Fielding. The team gets to see Zordon again, they stop Robo Rita using the Megazord like they did. It would still take place on the moon. The portal would open up where the palace would be, but it's not there, and before Rita wakes up from the dumpster. Nothing is disturbed from the past. That's the biggest sin. Every other minor issue I can forgive, but not actually following through with the time travel, which the trailer pushed, that bordered on false advertisement, and it was the one time I was trusting them with time travel. I can't see it as a budget issue. Would recreating the original set after finishing all the filming on the 23 set be that much more? We have to be honest here, the original Command Center set was made with cheap stuff. The 93 segment would just feature the moon and the original Command Center. To make it clear how the 93 Command Center knew what was happening, the Rangers would have called for their Zords, which would alert Alpha. After Rita's finished, you can have the present-day mmpr team teleport to the Command Center and give everyone their moments. I'll add an extra bit of lore. The teleporter effect would be the original since Billy connected to the old system. If I was writing this scene, they would have come in, the Command Center is empty, just like in the pilot. Zordon and Alpha would be monitoring them from a distance. Everyone takes off their helmets. Zach, Rocky, and Kat are talking to Min. Their voices fade out while Billy is moving his gloves over the panels. You hear audio from various episodes of his memories. Then Alpha walks in saying, "These are genuine power coins," followed by Zordon appearing in the tube. Throughout the special, Billy is clearly hurt and desperately wants to find Zordon. That part isn't paid off. Going back to the past at least gives Billy a chance for him to see and talk to Zordon one more time. He desperately wants to tell Zordon, but Zordon stops him. Zordon would remind everyone that no matter how much you want to do the right thing, it's best to not change what will happen. He could bring up Kimberly going back in time. Zordon doesn't want to tempt fate, but it would allow Billy closure. Zordon's there. He can say his thanks for becoming a Ranger. It's still him. One extra moment before they leave, I'd have Billy tell Alpha, make sure you have backups to your systems, keeping it vague enough where Alpha would eventually catch on to what he meant for Green with Evil. If they had done something like this, Once and Always would have went from special to TV movie. It annoys me when I see Hasbro pump out horrible movie after crap show that costs hundreds of millions of dollars, but can't give something like Once and Always the spare change in the sofa. Same goes for Cosmic Fury. We had to wait quite a while. At the time, we didn't know all the details about the season, just that David Yost had some part in it and it was going to be Q Ranger for the Zord footage. All other areas are original. I was expecting David Yost to just get a quick cameo on the screen recorded during Once and Always, but him being in the whole season, that was a good move. What I wasn't happy with was the stupid suits. And I was one of the few that were giving them a chance. Lots of times things are made a certain way that works only on camera, except not here. Basically, the suits were made bland because it would make manufacturing figures cheaper. No artwork on the chest, no need for ink. Except they didn't freaking make the figures. Hell, virtually nothing was made for Cosmic Fury, besides the Morpher and the Megazord. It was an absolute farce. This is the 30th anniversary? What is with this franchise? Except for Forever Red, every other anniversary screwed up. Everyone working at Hasbro's toy team, what was that? This isn't my usual complaining about US toy mold. I'm talking about the people who greenlit stuff like the Alien Ranger figure set. Who in their right mind would do that? And you wonder why the toy line went down the drain. Then, of course, you had the collapse of Hasbro's production company. So sadly, 3 years later, boned Super Sentai. I don't know how Super Sentai is going to recover. Say what you want about Power Rangers, you hate it, you only like Sentai. That's not the problem here. Power Rangers, moving forward, will no longer use Sentai footage. It will do its own thing, even when Sentai comes back, and it will. But now, they have no American money unless they own the word Power Rangers in some function. Even then, that royalty fee is going to be small junk. Sentai is going to have a much smaller budget to make the show. They were already affected by Bandai losing Power Rangers, and you could see it too. Look at the Loot and Pat Ranger toy line. While the plastic was good quality, the paint job was classic Bandai America nonsense. That was the first signs of problems I saw. Everything started unraveling with both shows. Now I know that Sentai was having bad toy sales for seasons before, which is actually worse. Think about it. In the older seasons, 70s and 80s, foreigners were not buying the Bandai Japan stuff. Now you do have foreign fans buying stuff, and it still failed. The failures are not just the PR side, but PR and Sentai ended up mirroring each other's fate. I said it in the last video, I wish Cosmic Fury wasn't made. The show should have ended on Once and Always. It all comes down to being 10 episodes. We went from 60 episode seasons to 10. RPM barely had time with 32. What the hell do you do with 10? That's just 4 hours to tell a story. there were things that shouldn't have been done. Now, I know Ollie turning evil was forced on them. Moya had signed up for another commitment, the villains of Valley View, so we had to finish that first, which shows how late this third season was greenlit. But then, he was able to film for the whole season anyway, but they had no time to rewrite his part. That screwed his character. It was a happy accident that Ollie ended up as an evil ranger, a bookend to where the series started, but because of him being relegated to plot device, literally doing that with the scene with his mom, and when you have Billy for the whole season and not use him for Ollie's arc, just like how Tommy was with Trent? Tommy was the first to help Trent. He was the one who convinced everyone, don't give up on him. Complete fail. You have Javi's arm stuff, which was wasted. I know it was the higher-ups that dumbed that moment down, but still. It would have been offset if Javi and Izzy revealed they were Power Rangers to their parents. Then you have all the wasted stuff with Zato and Amelia. The story was structured to get Amelia into the Red Ranger color, but because nothing was built up in season 2, bar the premiere, she didn't have a good payoff to it. And then you don't have Zato remain Red Ranger. Keep his special suit, not make him the Champagne Ranger. You could have had episodes where Zato and Amelia can't get it to work right. He wants the team to go one way, she wants to try something else, even have an episode where Zato helps her improve, reach her potential. Then, when Zato finally officially dies, have that sacrificing moment where he tells her to take over. A moment like that was needed. This is the last freaking season. Give it some actual weight. Then you had Fern. You don't have time for this. It had no purpose in the end anyway. You screwed everything up with Izzy and Fern in the first 2 seasons. You have no time to do anything with them or to fix their issues. They even caused a new issue with Solon, which brings us to the ultimate screw up. Zed. I know you have to use the Crew Ranger footage, but we've been through this with Die Ranger and Cucker Ranger. You didn't have to have that stupid double cross in Zed. You had no major scene with Zed and Billy. They had no time to pull a Vegeta with Zed. He doesn't get killed off by the Rangers. Instead, they go with Plan C. Him having an hallucination of Rita on that planet, and they just leave him there. What the hell was that? We are talking about so much stuff happening that's easily equal to the second half of Lost Galaxy with the Green with Evil. We're talking 30 episodes put into 10. I don't care how good you are as a writer. No one can do that. There are things I did like about it. Watch my review on all 10 episodes. They would have been better off if they put Cosmic Fury's budget in Once and Always and extended it. It damages Dino Fury and screws Zed. With the show finally completed, I can now rate all 4 generations. The Saban era remains the best one, followed by Disney, Hasbro, and last, Neo Saban. I give hell to Mystic Force, Overdrive, and Jungle Fury, but I still will watch those 3 seasons. I will not watch 95% of the Neo Saban seasons and Cosmic Fury. 30 years is one hell of a ride. I don't expect much from the upcoming new Power Rangers. I'm going to be there when it comes out, but I'm going to expect the worst. I'm more curious about the Zord stuff. I totally expect 10 episodes. 8 of them won't have Zord battles, and they save it for the last 2. I just have a feeling the show will rip off PR 2017 and Marvel's Moon Knight. I'll be happy if I'm wrong, but streaming does this all the time. Thanks again for watching. If you have a subject you'd like me to cover, leave a comment down below, and I may use it. Archer out.